Hi, it's Nicole McGork with this week's From Start to Finish video brought to you by 2pieceinAbucket.com. This week's layout features lots of yellow and red with a little touch of brown for this layout, focusing on my daughter. For the papers this week, I chose to pull from the red t-shirt that my daughter is wearing in the photos. So I pulled a bunch of red and it just happened to see some yellow, and I thought that would really be pretty together, kind of from that daisy paper on the back of that plaid. So I've chosen the yellow So Cute calendar paper, the round scallop. That plaid paper is the Modern Homemaker collection from October Afternoon. I don't particularly care for some of the designs on the A sides of the paper, but the B sides all have really nice neutrals. The cherry paper is Cosmo Cricket Early Bird. The yellow hearts is Echo Park Little Girl. And then the little red mini polka dot, yellow mini polka dot, and the daisy paper are all the Modern Homemaker collection from October Afternoon. And then the small cherry paper on the yellow is Jelly Bean Soup. The dark brown pattern paper, it's kind of a solid with a distressing look, is the Little Boy collection from Echo Park, and then some craft basil cardstock. I've also grabbed some of my favorite October Afternoon stickers, some ribbons and trims, a few of the button clip embellishments from KI Memories, and a couple of die cut cards, random ones from October Afternoon, as well as a piece of vellum. The first thing I'm going to do is create my mat that I'm going to build on. And I'm going to trim that brown paper to 10 by 11 inches. And then I'm going to trim this daisy paper to about 4 inches tall by just slightly smaller than 10 inches, probably 9 3/4 inches, I would say, maybe a little bit more. And then I'm going to trim that cherry paper to about 6.5 inches tall and the same width, just slightly less than the 10 inches. I'm going to lay my photos out there, kind of make sure that everything is coming together. I'm going to trim my vellum, and I want it to be slightly smaller than that cherry paper. It'll serve as it'll mute the paper so that the photos pop off the background even more. Then I layered one of those KI Memory, or rather October Afternoon journaling cards there to the left of the smaller photo. I trimmed off the top of that So Cute calendar, and then I'm trimming a couple of thin strips from some of the other coordinating papers to layer where those two bigger patterns meet. There you can see it kind of coming together. So you don't have to leave those calendar papers together. I do a lot, but they also work really well, trimmed into little pieces like you see here. I'm going to layer that yellow jumbo rickrack trim underneath my borders, and I was going to use this brown trim as well, but I didn't end up using it on the finished layout. I couldn't ever seem to quite make it work the way I thought I could. Here is one of those button clips. I think I'm going to go with the red one for this page. And I've also printed my journaling on a scrap of basil craft cardstock. Trim that up. And then I'm going to attach it to the page with that KI Memories clip. So I'm just kind of seeing if I like how everything looks. And then I've already die cut my title using the silhouette. The word completely is from one of Carrie Bradford's die cut kits, and cute is from the Silhouette America store. Everything looks to be coming together pretty well, so I'm going to speed everything up as I put the page together. I've rounded the top 2 corners. I'm going to leave the bottom 2 corners alone. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that scallop paper, and you can see it overhangs a little bit, And I was going to go ahead and trim it, but then I decided I'll just trim everything all at once. So I left it for now. I'm going to go ahead and apply these other two borders. They're pretty long as well. And then I'm going to pop up that top of the part of the page and place my rickrack trim underneath. Probably should have done that first. Kind of put it together as I go along. It is rather bulky, so what I like to do is take my sewing machine and just secure it in place. I find that really helps flatten it and also helps that it won't fall apart in my album later on. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and trim off all of that extra on both sides, and you can see how nice and clean that looks. Ready to adhere my vellum. Just going to put a little adhesive in the middle where you won't see it, and I am going to go ahead and sew that in place here in a little bit. But first I need to tuck some of the other elements that I want underneath the vellum in place. And I've decided to move my journaling to the top of the page. I felt like there was quite a bit going on near the bottom of the page with the layered embellishments and photos. And the top of the page needed a little bit of something, so I moved my journaling up and I attached it with the button clip from KI Memories. So that looks good. I'm going to run over to my sewing machine and sew that vellum in place, and once that's done I can go ahead and apply my other die cut and the photos. I'm just layering them here. For my die cuts, I do like to use spray adhesive. I find that they stay better and they're easier to work with and they don't tear as easy. So I'm just spraying them in a box that I have. Once it gets yucky, I throw it out and use a new one. Protects my work surface and just kind of contains the spray adhesive. I use the offset feature. I think that's what it's called. I might be wrong about that. In the Silhouette software, this word completely is from one of Carrie Bradford's die cut kits, and I combined it with a word from the Silhouette store. And I wanted to layer it. I thought it was the perfect kind of font for layering one on the other. And the brown really helps make that plaid pop off the page, where the plaid letters would probably get lost with all the color and patterns going on. This really helps make it show up a lot better. So just adjusting those just a tiny bit, move that word queued up so you can read it and it doesn't get lost behind my tab sticker from October Afternoon. I left it open so I could machine stitch it in place and then place my tab over it. And this is a fun tip I like to do. I take a foam mat and open my stapler up straight and place my project on top of that foam, and you can staple anywhere on the center of your layout. Maybe you don't have a long reach stapler, so it'll just staple right into that foam. You can pull your project up and place the back of the staple down with your tip of your scissors. So any stapler that will open up flat will work like that. It makes it so you can add staples anywhere. I really like that. I punched a really not even quite 12-inch strip border using a Fiskars border punch. I felt like the left side of the page needed just a little something since I kind of offset most of the elements for my page, and then I trimmed a really thin yellow border, but I felt like that wasn't quite enough color, so I'm going to go ahead and trim a thin red one. And I'm just cutting the ends at angles and adding them kind of randomly along the sides of the page. So that just kind of helps add just a little something down there. Now I'm going to punch a cloud from that jelly bean soup paper. Try to figure out where I think that'll look the best. I really kind of want them down here in the left-hand corner of the page. And I thought I really wanted the clouds down here, but they're not really working very well with that October afternoon sticker. So I am going to move it here in a little bit. That's just kind of too much or something. So I'm going to punch one more cloud from the yellow paper. I'm trying to figure out where I like it the best. I like to do my embellishments a lot of times in groups of 3. I'm going to grab some of these little descriptive word stickers from the October afternoon set. You can see I moved my sticker and tucked it up there a little bit. I think that looks better. And I'm going to adhere these clouds with some foam adhesive. Just pops them up and it kind of helps give a little dimension. Move my word sticker too. And then I was thinking I might do another of the cherry clouds, but then I decided not to. I guess I'll save that cloud for another project. So I guess I needed to zoom out and I haven't, sorry about that. And I'm going to place that yellow cloud right down below the other 2. And I originally was going to use the foam adhesive, but I decided after I added it that it just was too much. I thought it needed to be flat. So I did remove the adhesive and just stick it flat against the back of the page. I added a couple more of those borders up near the top of the page as well. And then on that yellow heart border, I have this little heart punch from Stampin' Up! That was almost the same size as the heart design. So I'm punching some hearts out of the red polka dot paper and covering up every other one on the border. Plus I added one of those hearts down there on that last cloud. And that is it for this week's From Start to Finish layout. For more information on the layout, plus a complete list of supplies used, please visit www.twopeasinabucket.com on March 2nd, 2011. Thanks for watching.